because I've been showing up, but it feels like I keep getting called to the stand without a lawyer. I keep hearing trust the process, but the process feels like court where the evidence keeps getting loud, it keeps getting lost. And I object, Your Honor. And God responds, on what grounds? On the grounds that I'm retired. On the grounds that I buried people who were supposed to grow over me. On the grounds that addiction keeps stealing names faster than I can remember birthdays. Ayla, Jay, James, and James again. How many times do I gotta say goodbye before hello feels safe again? Because sometimes hope feels like a courtroom where grief is the judge. Do you believe that I have abandoned you? I mean, boys' homes, bullies, IEPs, pills, no mom and no dad. 15 years trying to figure out why starting line felt like the finish line. Other kids got parents and I got survivor names. You ever try building confidence out of court dates and counseling appointments? And yet, here you are. Yeah, here I am, still breathing, still believing, still getting backed up, like the rope bridge snapped, but falling wasn't an option. Because quitting was never written in my story. But let's talk about loss. Grandma, she held the line when the world folded. She was the one steady verse in a book full of chaos. And you let her remember me for just a moment when she had forgotten everything else. And then you let her go. And that felt personal. Love always is. And explain court. Explain fighting just to be a dad. And explain why being present sometimes feeling like needing permission. Explain why loving my kids comes with paperwork. Why being a father comes with opposition. And my oxygen has to be scheduled. Connor, Elena, and Shepard. They're not court exhibits. They're my heartbeat outside of my chest. Do you think I don't see that? I think sometimes you see too much and say too little. Because when I'm sitting alone, feeling loud, the head's loud, world quiet, I don't need silence. I need direction. You called Samuel twice. You said, Samuel, Samuel. What about Jeff? You called me twice while I mistaken for thunder. What if the storm was the call? That's messed up, man. Because sometimes life feels like Job without the warning label. Like every time I build something, something tries to tear me down. Reputation, peace, family, stability. Every time, even when I win, it feels like overtime. You measure victory by comfort, and I measure victory by endurance. Endurance is exhausting, so is purpose. You ever notice the strongest people got the quietest pain? Because we learned early that nobody's coming. So we become our own rescue mission, and yet you still pray. Yeah, because anger doesn't cancel faith. Sometimes faith argues. Jacob wrestled, and David doubted, and Thomas questioned. Even Jesus asked why he was forsaken. So don't act surprised when I raise my voice. I'm not leaving, I'm leaning in. You gave me fire, and you gave me persistence that doesn't understand quitting. You gave me kids that remind me by breathing magic. You gave me a story that refuses to end in a sentence. So maybe court isn't a punishment. Maybe it's a testimony. Maybe loss isn't disappearing. Maybe it's a legacy. Maybe survival isn't luck, but maybe it's an assignment. Because every time that I almost broke, something in me whispered, not finished, correct. Then meet me halfway, and I'll keep walking if you keep lighting. I'll keep fighting if you keep guiding. I'll keep believing even when the evidence feels thin. Because I learned something about rock bottom. It's solid, and solid foundations build unshakable faith. I'm still here, I'm still dad, and I'm still breathing, I'm still believing, still arguing with God like a son who knows his father is listening. And that's how the case goes.